Then his argument would be that I'm going to create an economy which is going to create more jobs and going to be more.
So Trump's
That's
argument.
what the Democrats are saying, that they're going to create more jobs, that they'll lift the standard of living, that they'll lift wages.
Yeah, I think to be fair to Donald Trump.
No.
Hang on, can I just pause you there? Yeah, why?
We're not doing
why do we need to be fair to Donald Trump? No.
Not on this show.
No, let's not do that.
I think the evidence shows that when he was president, he did cut a lot of bureaucracy, he did support a lot of private sector. There was quite a lot of job growth. So the problem with
What?
Yes, that's the quote that made me go, straight away, and we will get back to that. Hold your fire. We'll get back.
all of these things is they're always in isolation, and it's like looking at numbers in New Zealand when COVID took place, or say when the GFC was there or something. You can't take things out in isolation. So my main point would really be, look, I'm a core believer in central right politics. So I believe that if you have individuals and companies being able to have an appropriately managed but nevertheless greater presence with less bureaucracy, less regulation, less red tape, less taxes, I think
Then I
people
will
do
vote for a
invest,
fascist.
take risks and create jobs. So that'll be his argument about why it'll be better for those workers. And his argument is, well, the countries I'm targeting aren't playing fair and they're not treating you fairly, and the reason you're losing your job is because they're
It's because I've threatened to put literally a 200% tariff on John Deere if they leave America.
doing things that we don't agree with. So I kind of understand it. It's just the question is, what is campaign rhetoric and what is reality?
Mark Cuban made a very good point about what Key just said there. What is campaign rhetoric and what is reality? Mark Cuban made a very good point talking about why he was going to support Harris over Trump. And one of the points he made was, Harris explains her position and then that's it. Donald Trump bloviates out word salad, and other people then have to come in and explain to the media what he was saying. And I just thought that's such a good observation. Whether it's JD Vance or whether it's one of his surrogates going on Fox or whatever, he will just go with this word salad of ridiculousness. Then others will explain what it meant. Whereas Harris is all self-contained and she explains it all herself, which I actually thought was quite a good thing. Right, Chewy, let's get under this, right? I had a bit of pushback around Twitter today when I put some of those quotes up. And one of the things that was being said was this thing that John Key just said, and I'll read it out for you. I wrote it down for the quote. This is talking of Trump's last tenure. Quote, "There was quite a lot of job growth." Now, I was going to say anecdotally I'd heard otherwise. From commentators and stuff, I'd heard otherwise. So I thought, let's get up to it and let's have a look what the actual data is. So here's some data for you guys. Since the Great Depression, the economy has fared better under Democratic presidents than Republican presidents. This fact holds true regardless of the economic measure used. Economic growth, employment, job creation, income, and productivity have all been stronger under Democratic presidents. From 1933 to 2020, this goes through to 2021, so don't get all of Joe Biden, but get a little bit of in some of the facts and figures. The economy grew at an average of 4.6% per year under Democratic presidents, or nearly double the 2.4% under Republican presidents. There were 14 different presidents over this time, 7 Democrats, 7 Republicans. Democratic presidents constantly ranked higher in economic job growth and creation. Of the 7 presidents with the highest annual economic growth rate, 5 are Democrats. Conversely, 5 of the 7 presidents with the lowest economic growth rate are Republicans. Of the 7 presidents with the highest annual job creation, 6 are Democrats. On the flip side, 6 of the 7 presidents with the lowest job creation are Republicans. Most recently, President Biden has overseen a 5.7% real GDP growth, the highest annual economic growth since 1984, and the creation of 6.6 million jobs, the most in a single year in recorded history. Now, I got online today and I put some of the stuff out there, and people are like, oh yeah, but COVID, Trump COVID. And I'm like, well, okay, let's first check this out. You guys want to cite things like fuel prices, like inflation, like the southern border as being successes under Trump. You don't go, well, they were only a success because of COVID, which is the case. No one was driving, no one was immigrating, and no one was trying to cross the border. So if you're not going to take away the credit from him from those because of COVID, then you don't get the right to blame COVID when the facts and figures don't quite line up. But again, Chewy, beyond that, this data is not necessarily about Trump and Biden. This is about, since 1933, all Democrats and all Republicans. So in other words, this doesn't give us just a look at the COVID year. This gives us a look at the Great Depression. This gives us a look at the 1987 stock market crash. This gets us to take a look at the 1970s fuel shortages. We can look at the 2007-2008 global financial crisis. This is all of it. Lots of presidents have had massive issues, and of them, Donald Trump is the worst by a measurable amount. So this is the growth of the economy, and you can see up, and this is Joe Biden. They managed to squeeze 2021 in there, but I wanted to show you a couple of things in particular. GDP has grown faster, and look, I know it's sometimes confusing, but remember their colors are opposite us. So blue is left, red is right. It sometimes confuses, but GDP has grown faster under Democratic presidents. Annual GDP growth rate from the start of each presidential term, 1953 to 2020. Democrat, Republican, Democrat, Republican, Republican, Republican. So there you go. And Trump right down the bottom on 1%. Remember George W. Bush? He had a war, and at the end of his term, a global financial crisis. He had two things to deal with in that way. What about we have a look at jobs? Remember, John Key, there was quite a lot of job growth under Trump. There was quite a lot of job growth. Even if I block these names on the left, can you see which one you think might be Trump? Maybe. Because John Key said quite a lot of job growth. His words. So we're measuring by his standard of his words. As you can see, Johnson, Carter, Clinton, Kennedy, all up the top. Couple of Republicans and then Obama. By far and away, jobs have grown faster under Democrats and Republicans. Well, you see, there's one little anomaly, Chewy. Since the 1950s, there's only been one president, and that whole time, Vietnam War, 87 stock market crash, 2008 financial global crisis.
That's because he's a rogue. He's not a politician. He's not constrained by the rules of politics. He goes his own way. He goes the other way.
Trump is the only president, at least since this research shows, since the 1950s, to have a negative job growth. John Key, there was quite a lot of job growth. Literally incorrect. Literally the opposite of that. There was no job growth. In fact, it was the opposite of that. There's one other paragraph I think I want to read you that I think I highlighted from memory. Yep, here he goes. Democratic administrators turn around weak economies left by their Republican predecessors. That's the heading of this. Historically, Democratic presidents have inherited weak economies from their Republican predecessors and have responded with policies that jump-started economic growth and improved economic well-being. George W. Bush, his administration policies, directly contributed to the Great Recession, which reduced earnings for a generation of workers, led to years of widespread unemployment, and caused an unprecedented decline in wealth. President Bush, and he still had more jobs and did better than Donald Trump, with all of that against him. President Bush left office with just 1.4 million jobs added across his presidency and an unemployment rate of 7.8, nearly double what it was when he entered office. After inheriting a sputtering economy, President Obama spearheaded the longest expansion under a single president in US history. During 76 consecutive months, 15 million jobs were created. The unemployment rate was cut from 10% near the height of the Great Recession in October 2009 to 4.7% in January 2017. Two things. John Key, there was quite a lot of job growth under Donald Trump. Only president in recent history to have a negative job growth. Haven't got the numbers here for Obama, but for Biden. Slip of the tongue. Oh, Freudian. For Biden, but Biden's created more jobs than if you add all the Republican presidents together, Biden has created more jobs than all of them combined. So John Key wrong, and please people, let's not let these guys on the right tell us that they're the fucking parties of business and they're the parties of the economy, because they're just not.